now from the 810 zone, it's Fantasy Football with Brian McCray and Clay Jensen.
Good Wednesday evening. It is Week 7 Fantasy Football. We are at the 810 zone in North Kansas City at Harrah's Casino. I'm Clay Jensen with Brian McCray. Brian, just getting here moments ago. I think we at the blackjack tables, or
I wish.
Do you ever dabble in casino play at all?
A little bit, but not lately.
I used to work at one in the Twin Cities, and we couldn't gamble at our own casino, so we had to go somewhere else to do it. But yeah, it was some good days, but more bad days than not. That's why
real good days, but it's just now that you got other things to do.
We
don't feel like
other thing to spend your money on.
Yeah, throw your money away when you
diapers and food and stuff like that.
Yeah, I got 7-year-old that needs things. So when you're single, it's pretty easy to do it and you're okay. But I still enjoy going out to the casino. I just don't gamble.
It's fun. I remember one time I was working a progressive slot machine, dollar slot machine. This guy hit wasn't the jackpot, but he hit one for like $4,500. So I congratulated the guy, and I was like, "Well, congratulations, awesome." He's like, "Yeah, I'm still down $7,000." Oh, don't get in that situation.
It's better than being down 11.
This is true. Don't get in that situation. Also, we're on WHBTV.com. You can check us out there. And we're streaming live. And if you miss any part of this, you can just go back and check that out. Also, taking your start-sit questions on Facebook, WHBTV. I think I said just WHBTV. That's all you got to go to. And we'll take those as well. Jim behind the camera, Jim Bly. Big Jim Bly, when it's like Big John Studd kind of. Remember wrestling?
And speaking of wrestling, they were here, I think, last night, WWE.
Oh, yeah?
Was at the Sprint Center last night.
I used to love going to that.
Band or not, but I saw all the trucks lined up outside, putting all the props and all the stage.
That's a lot. It's a lot what it is now, props.
It is.
You used to just get by with a metal chair and maybe a ladder. Nowadays, it's a lot more that goes into them. So it's a little too soap opera-y for me now, but I remember back in the day, they had the Road Warriors and Nick Bockwinkel and the Crusher and George Animal Steel and Baron von Raschke and stuff like that with the claw. How'd your teams do this week?
1-1
last week.
We lost one. I'm 3-3 in one league and 2 games out of first place.
I won both my last Sunday. I didn't have to watch the Sunday night game. It was, Antonio Gates wasn't going to go off for 59 points, let's put it that way, so I won pretty easily that. Noshan Moreno was awesome for me. I did get a trade off of this today, actually. I was just looking for another quarterback. I did pick up Foles, though, for Philly.
And he's probably going to start playing him a lot.
Yeah, and he might keep the job, too. I mean, they might not go back to Michael Vick.
And Michael Vick may not be healthy enough to go back to for a while.
Yeah, and he looked good. He had 3 touchdowns. He also ran one in, which is the rare rushing touchdown.
Well, speaking of quarterbacks, we talked about it a little bit last week with the Minnesota Vikings. It looks like Josh Freeman's going to be the starting quarterback there.
Their season's over, and you might as well see what you got. And you pay the guy, $3 million, I think, to come play for you. You get him for, 8 games, 9 games maybe.
He gets the audition.
Yeah, you didn't want to worry anything about that because the Vikings aren't going past the regular season. But, so he'll make a start. And he should do fairly well, I would think, this week. They're playing the Giants, who, when you think of the New York Giants,
well against the Giants.
you don't think of stout defenses when you hear about the New York Giants. So this should be a good matchup for him and add some value to Simpson and also Greg Jennings. And Kyle Rudolph could have a really nice day because the Giants, they're horrible against tight ends. So, the offer made to me today was I would get Aaron Rodgers and BenJarvus Green-Ellis for Colin Kaepernick and Noshan Moreno.
I'd make that trade.
You would trade that?
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers has not been that good this year.
Kaepernick hadn't done much either.
Well, no, but I also have Foles now, too. So I dropped Brandon Weeden from last week. He did all right for me. He was serviceable. But there's some matchups for Kaepernick coming up that look pretty good. That teams that will actually stay there.
I would make the trade.
Yeah. I declined it. Noshan Moreno, yes, he's an injury risk. But right now, when games are close, and they will be coming up for Denver, as you saw, he's the man. He's getting the passes. He's getting everything, all the goal line work. So
that'd be good to this next, 8 weeks to the season or so, kind of see where those guys go from here.
Yeah, Knowshon Moreno will blow out his knee probably on Sunday, and that will be the end of that. So, but I do have some good running back depth. But it's Aaron Rodgers. He's, Drew Brees has looked great, but Aaron Rodgers.
He doesn't kill you. He's not nothing spectacular.
He is great.
He's not going to kill your team.
But Randall Cobb is now out. You basically can drop Randall Cobb unless you're in like a dynasty league or a keeper league. That's the only reason keeping Randall Cobb, because he's coming back probably like week 15. When and then even after that, he's not going to be, he's going to have to knock a little rust off. And
he may not come back.
Yeah, he might, and the season's going to be over after that. So he's droppable pretty much. And Jones also, he's dinged up. He might be out 1 or 2 weeks, so you'll get a lot of Jermichael Finley, Eddie Lacy, and who's the new
Jordy
guy?
Nelson.
Jordy Nelson. Who's the new guy? He did a little bit, had one nice catch. I can't remember. It starts with a B. Anyways, some people might be picking him up, but he's not really on my radar. On the buys this week, Oakland and New Orleans. Jimmy Graham. They're thinking it might not be that serious, so he might be back after the bye. But
that's still something to keep an eye on.
A lot of panicky Jimmy Graham owners out there. Ooh, he didn't get a catch. He didn't, no yards for him. He was pretty much shut out by Talib last week. Against the Patriots. So I kind of like seeing that. I'm not a Jimmy Graham owner this year. I was the first year it came out, and there's a lot of good tight ends in the draft this year. If you fell to the right spot, I'd probably take him, but
tight ends shouldn't be taken high.
But Jimmy Graham's on a scale of himself. Gronkowski, who knows when he's coming back.
But there's only a couple guys that you can get like that, and then everybody else is.
But it's such a huge advantage in that one position, though, because some leagues you have to start a tight end.
Right, but there's only 2 teams that are going to have a chance to do that, depending on what kind of league you play in. So that's nothing. I mean, if it's there, if you take it, but more times than not, it's not. That tight end's not going to be there.
Yeah, and certain weeks it's like it's not going to be that great for him. And the difference between him and like Martellus Bennett, who you could have gotten like the 9th round or something like that for Chicago. It's not that many points to really.
And there are a couple rookies
to worry about
that have now come onto the scene at the tight end position too.
Don't get me started on Jordan Cameron again, because it still burns. It still burns. My best friend Dan sniped him from me. So
I think more rookies are doing damage at the tight end position than any other position.
Yeah, they're looking very good. So, all right, let's get to some of the matchups. Thursday Night Football has Seattle. I'm kind of like leaning over here too while talking to you. I got all like my notes over here. So
sitting in your lap, that doesn't work either.
Yeah, it's just I feel a little flustered and crumbled up here. Seattle taking on Arizona. This game's going to be in Arizona. For Seattle, after his 2-touchdown performance against the Titans, Marshawn Lynch gets a pretty good matchup against a team that surrendered over 100 yards to Frank Gore last Sunday. I'm looking for that, and plus at least a score for the Beast this week. I think Marshawn Lynch, no disservice to Frank Gore. I think Marshawn Lynch is a little bit better than he is.
Not a little bit. He's a lot better. Frank Gore is probably past his prime.
But he does get the work also, though, in the backfield for San Fran, unless they
he gets to work, but they don't. They haven't done a whole lot.
Yeah, they have Vernon Davis out there. Crabtree's going to be coming back later on this season, and Mario Manningham also. He'll be back fairly soon. Even though Seattle, even though this team isn't as good on the road, they should have no problem getting through the Cardinals' offensive line and getting to quarterback Carson Palmer. The offensive line for Arizona, if there's some way you can take the defensive line for Arizona and move it. Maybe they can play both ways. Is that allowed in the NFL? Play defensive line and offensive line, because they could probably use some of those guys in the offensive line. It's bad.
They need help.
Yeah, they
need a lot of help. But there are a lot of teams. I mean, we're going to talk about. We talked about the Giants a little bit earlier. There are a lot of teams that just have some bad line play, and that's leading to a lot of these offensive numbers being way down from players that we're counting on, that a lot of people are drafted and counting on. If you have no offensive line, you can't do anything. I felt sorry for Pryor against the Chiefs. He had put up some decent numbers.
That was ugly.
But you couldn't fault him. The best thing that he could do last Sunday was just stay alive.
Run for your life and run for first downs and run for positive yardage. People say, well, Giants' offensive line is bad. Eli Manning's got some, Eli Manning has good receivers, though. I mean, the only person on Arizona is Fitzgerald, and that's pretty much all they have downfield. And he had a good game. They thought he might not play, and then I benched him. I wasn't going to play the guy against
But he does go out there
The 49ers, yeah.
when even when he's hurt. But
you couldn't really see that coming. It was a nice catch and run for a touchdown, 75-yarder.
But you're not gonna. That's one of those fluke things.
And if you didn't have that, it would have been a mediocre day. So
that's the chance you take.
Yeah, and it's a short week for Fitzgerald, so he might not even play this week. He said he's going to try, but when somebody's in the locker room laying on his stomach on the bench screaming in pain, it's not a good sign.
No,
not even for somebody as tough as Larry Fitzgerald from Northern Minneapolis. Had to throw that in there. All right,
he went to Pittsburgh though.
Yeah, but he was from Minnesota though. He played his high school. He got his roots.
But was it only because his dad coached there?
Probably. He was a ball boy for Denny Green too.
Right, but then he
back in the day
grew up somewhere else, but just went to high school there.
He might have. Some people say like they'll be in like a small town or something like that, and they've lived there all their life, but maybe they were, my wife was born in California, so she's like, I'm from California. She's only there for like 2 months or something like that. Percy Harvin, he's still a few weeks away, but if you're sitting good in your fantasy league, maybe you're 6-0, 5-1, or whatever, you got a spot, you don't really worry about it too much. You got studs there. Percy Harvin, if he's available, he was drafted on our draft day and nobody's let go of him yet, so he's not available.
They're going off what he has done.
He hasn't even played a snap for Seattle yet,
right.
But
they're going off what he can do.
They're going off what he did for the Vikings,
right? Because he may not be able to do anything even when he comes back.
Yeah. So
if he comes back,
yeah, he'll be back eventually. Some people are saying week 11. Some people are saying maybe week 8 possibly. But we'll wait and see. But if you want to, might be something you want to stash. We got a little room. You're sitting good. If you need wins right now, probably not. But there's probably some other options out there. For Arizona, I mentioned Larry Fitzgerald had a surprisingly nice game on Sunday. 12 targets, 6 catches, 117 yards and a touchdown. Now dealing with another hamstring injury. It was his left before. That was a problem going into the game. Then he comes out and apparently it had moved up his leg into his thorax region and down into his right leg. So now he has a right hamstring injury. Do a short week. And Richard Sherman, do you know that guy? Plays for Seattle.
He's okay. Yeah.
Not bad.
Does a good job out there.
He's from Compton, I hear. I would not mess with anybody from Compton. I've seen boys in the hood. Do not mess with people from Sherman's, if he does play, he'll be on him, so I'm not expecting really anything from Fitzgerald. So I would look other places. I have Fitzgerald on the team, and he's not going to be playing this week. Not against Seattle. I know Seattle's on the road; they don't play as well, but he's matched up against Sherman. I'm not gonna take the chance here. Andre Ellington, he got a fewer carries than Rashad Mendenhall last week against the 49ers, but I smell Bloody Marys right now. Somebody drinking Bloody Marys? Smell that? It smells
just the tomato juice.
It's tomato juice and a whole pepper, a little absolute pepper maybe in there. So Andre Ellington, he got fewer carries than Mendenhall last week, but did more with them. Averaged 8 yards per carry, including a score from 15 yards out in the second quarter. Like him more going forward, especially in PPR leagues. Mendenhall he's just decreasing as they go.
I don't like anything offensively Arizona.
If you had to choose one,
you had to.
And Arizona's most likely going to be down, so Mendenhall's really not going to play a factor when that happens.
Hopefully you have better options.
Yeah, but in deeper leagues, those are so like if you're in a 14-team league, that might be your option. It might be a flex play or whatever. So Ellington, if he is available, he should be already owned, I'm guessing, in most leagues. But I think the reins the controllers are start being held over to Andre Ellington over Rashad Mendenhall. Don't see any more I'm particularly keen on this week. Seahawks surrendered only 15.7 points per contest. That's third fewest in the league. Fitzgerald, if he was fully healthy, possibly, but other than that, I'm not really starting any Arizona Cardinals.
Take a pass.
Yeah, Marshawn Lynch is your play, and you got Russell in there possibly. Arizona's pretty good, though, against the run, so that might pose some problems for Marshawn Lynch, but I think you gotta play Marshawn. If you own Marshawn Lynch, you're playing him out week in and week out. For Sunday noon games, Tampa Bay, they are at the Atlanta Falcons, the depleted Atlanta Falcons. Tampa Bay should be a nice day for Doug Martin, but that's what I said last week against the Eagles. He had 16.
He's going to do a whole lot when they get behind.
16 carries for 67 yards. It's just it was the first time Martin saw less than 20 touches in the game, and not many running backs. He's not living up to draft day expectations where you draft. I mean, some people were drafting Martin 3rd overall. He was taken in the first round somewhere.
Team is bad. And this goes to show you what happens when, again, this is not a good line, not good quarterback play. And everybody keys on Martin, and he can't do a whole lot.
Yeah, and his schedule might lighten up a little bit in the next couple of weeks. And sometimes I do that. I'll give the benefit of the doubt. They're playing tough defenses in the first few weeks here. You know, I give a little bit to that. But
this is a bad team, too.
Yeah, but Vincent Jackson had a nice game. He had 2 touchdowns from Glennon. But, you know, no Mike Williams last week. Left a lot of food on the table for Vincent Jackson. He had 14 targets, 9 catches, 114 yards, and the 2 touchdowns. He seems to be developing a nice friendship with his quarterback, Mike Lennon, who through 2 games, this is a good say, I kind of came up with this one, Mike Lennon through 2 games has already thrown for more completions, 50, and touchdowns, 3, and Josh Freeman has thrown his first 3 starts. So in 2 games, he's already surpassed Josh Freeman. Take that for what it's worth. Could be a nice day for the Bucs defense, as Atlanta will be most likely the other top 2 receivers. Also running back Steven Jackson not practicing. He's still nursing a hamstring injury. Jones lost for the season. And the Tony Gonzalez trade rumors, those are squashed. Don't worry about that, Kansas City fans. It's not happening.
Trades just don't happen.
Not off that in the NFL, unless you're the Cleveland Browns. But Trent Richardson hasn't really been doing too much yet, so I'm kind of liking that.
Yeah, you've been missing assignments on blocking and not catching the ball well.
Every time the Colts get a loss like they did on Monday night, I was the only person to take the Chargers in my little pickup thing I have going on. But every time the Colts lose a game, it just makes me smile that much more. Because it just means that's higher of a draft pick possibly for the Cleveland Browns next year. For the Atlanta Falcons,
Now back 5 games to the Saints in the NFC North. They're pretty much out of it. Julio Jones gone for the season. Their postseason play it's just a faded memory. Matt Ryan's stock does take a hit, of course, but he still has a couple weapons. Tony Gonzalez, Jacquizz Rodgers. I think Harry Douglas, he's
they do enough offensively too.
They're going to be throwing the ball still, so I mean those guys are still viable. I think Tony Gonzalez, I tried to get him when I found out the news. I think Tony Gonzalez will get a lot more looks. Yeah, he might get a little more coverage rolled his way, but the guy's big, and you can't. There's pass interference. You can't.
They find a way to get him the ball.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he'll still be good. I see his targets upticking a little bit there. For Harry Douglas, he's an all right waiver wire pick. There's other guys out there, but he's kind of up and down. Temper expectation. He hasn't chopped 100 yards, or he hasn't topped 10 yards this year, nor found the end zone. 100 yards, not 100 yards, not found the end zone this year. He's been given chances, but he is targeted a lot in the red zone. So he's second to Tony Gonzalez for targets in the red zone. So, you know, I'm trying to find a silver line in there for you for Harry Douglas, but. Yeah, I would temper expectations. Tempe's got a pretty good defense there. Not great, but they're pretty good. What do you think of that? Why am I got the bobbleheads over here by me. Why is that?
You got here first.
I think I'm a little more off kilter than most, though. Cincinnati at Detroit. Cincinnati, ladies and gentlemen, we have an A.J. Green sighting. It's nice to see your boy A.J. Green. Do you have him in leagues?
No, I do not.
Do not. Okay. Yeah, I remember talking like weeks before. He's just not a guy he's a guy that I never really draft. You know, he's just I don't know. As far as like big name receivers, I don't think I think I drafted Randy.
He has a lot of highlight reel catches, but he's not real consistent.
Yeah, like Randy Moss was the only receiver I think I took. This was after the year that he and Brady went crazy for like 50 touchdowns or whatever, and Moss had like 25. And then I think it was Brady I think that was in the year he messed up his knee, was taken out, it was Arizona or Kansas City. I can't remember what it was.
It was against Kansas City.
It was Kansas City, yeah. And I was just like, that just shot that season all down for me. That was a big, that was a touchdown heavy league. One of your leagues there, touchdown heavy league. So, he had 11 targets, 6 catches, 103 yards, and 1 touchdown for A.J. Green. As the second receiver off the board on draft day, this is another player who has fallen far below expectations. I'm looking for another good game from him. As the Lions turn to the 24th most fantasy points to the receiver position, so a good game coming for AJ Green. If you have him, of course you're playing him. Bernard and Green Ellis, they're still splitting the workload much of the time. Same as Spiller and Jackson in Buffalo. Who do you like?
But they're not producing as much as they were earlier.
Yeah, this is the Spiller and Jackson are like the poor man's Giovanni Bernard and BenJarvus Green Ellis. Those guys are at least actually getting into the end zone more frequently, I would guess, and they're not dinged up. So it's always a positive if you're not injured and you're out there playing, as opposed to being injured and playing. So I like Bernard better, and especially in the passing game if you're a PPR league. They both are pretty much equal in the touchdowns and stuff like that. BenJarvus Green Ellis, for as old as he is, I think he's looking pretty spry, looking young out there.
What's old for running back? 28?
30. 30s, yeah.
30s.
Yeah, 30s like the cutoff. That's when they start, That's why Ray Rice looking for a big contract and stuff like that. Maurice Jones-Drew, because they know that's probably going to be the last one before they retire. The offense for Cincinnati, it lives and dies with Andy Dalton. And Dalton, if he's on target like it was last week, he was on 26 for 40, 337 yards. He had 3 touchdowns as well. If he's doing that, then they're fine. If not, it's the Jekyll and Hyde thing for Dalton. He's either on or he's off, and when he's off, they put up maybe like 13 points.
When he's on, he can. He's only been on a couple games this year. He's been off more than on.
Yeah, he can put up Drew Brees numbers, but Drew Brees puts it up week in and week out. Fairly easily. For Detroit, Calvin Johnson, he did play last week. I had a lot of questions asked me, like, this guy or Calvin Johnson, and most times I went with the other guy. Fluid on the knee, he basically was running straight routes, and that's all I could really do.
He was more of a decoy.
Yeah, he's the Roddy White of last week, so I think he finished with like 34 yards, 3 catches, 34 yards, so I tell people to stay away from him, let him get healthy.
He was just out there.
Yeah, so it was, and I thought even, and going against Joe Hayden for the Cleveland Browns, that's another thing going against you there also, so that's another reason I said to stay away from him, but this week no different against a decent secondary in the Bengals. If he's not 100%, which he isn't, I feel, Keenan Allen, Charger that picked him up, he's doing really well.
Where was he drafted?
He wasn't drafted. You're talking like fantasy leagues?
No, as far as in the draft.
In the NFL draft?
Yeah, he was like a second or third round.
Yeah, and he was just, I think it was off the field problems or something like that. But they were thinking like this guy could have been like
it was first round talent.
Yeah, he was possibly the number 1 wide receiver overall. But the problems stuff like that dropped him down. So he's producing. I got him, and I'm thinking about I got good receivers right now. You play the matchups, I guess, but that guy, a little bit deeper leagues, people would pick them up and have them. They're looking pretty with Keenan Allen. So that's a guy who could start. Jacksonville's Justin Blackmon. He's getting a lot of, first week out of the gate, he exploded, and he did the same last week. He's getting targeted. Garbage time points count, so it's all good. And he that game was closer. The 27-point line was just ridiculous to me. For an
NFL game, that sounded like a college game, and
yeah, it was.
NFL teams aren't that bad.
Yeah, and I'm like, you got to take Jacksonville on the points. On that one, and they stuck in there. Picked off Peyton Manning and took it back to the house. So they
probably played their best game of the year.
Yeah, and still lost, but
ugly, but
yeah, it's Justin Blackmon, even Calvin Johnson's teammate Chris Durham. Getting a lot of looks also. He played college football with Matt Stafford, so they kind of had that little connection. And he's been getting a lot of looks and did very well last week. So second most targets, I believe, in the last 2 weeks. Durham got the second most in the league, so that's something to look at there. Reggie Bush owners, they'd like to have a word with tight end Joseph Furia, who hoarded 3 red zone touchdowns. Well, one was from like 23 yards out, but when they got down close, I think they were just playing the matchup on that one.
But Bush traditionally is not a guy that they use. Teams that he's been on, they don't use him in the red zone that much.
He has scored a few. But yeah, like with the Saints and with Miami, they tried to just run him up the middle, and he's not, he's
didn't
not a
work.
goal line back, but he's more dink and dunk, and he's a more scat backy. But 3 touchdowns for the tight end, Joseph Faria. Those are the only 3 catches he got. So I think that was just more the matchup. So, don't go crazy over you see the stat line, the 3 touchdowns for this guy, and running out to get him. I think
You just hope you played him on the right week if you had him.
Nobody played him. I think it was even on anybody's team, maybe like 0.1%. Maybe there's somebody out there
Played him.
somebody out there in Idaho or something like that is just like, yes, I told all you guys.
And that'll be all his points for the year.
The Potato Farm League or something like that this guy's on. A lot of potatoes, good potatoes in Idaho. After a lousy week 5, Matthew Stafford showed he can still get the job done, but he'll at the very least need Megatron out there to either catch touchdowns or draw double coverages to free up the other line receivers. If Johnson's not healthy at like 100%, you saw when he was not in there, he was horrible. Johnson was out there. He did throw 3 touchdowns, but you at least need Calvin Johnson out on the field.
You need that threat. You need other teams to think that he can do something even if he can't. And that's probably why they ran him out there even though he couldn't do a whole lot last week.
And I didn't watch too much of the game. I don't know if they tried to throw up to him at all and in the end zone at all. But, and the thing with him, it's like when he can jump, he can jump. But he doesn't, as weird as it sounds, he just doesn't know how to land. It always seems he's very tall and, he's big. It seems he always
has some awkward falls.
Yeah, it's twist an ankle or something like that, or he can't hang onto the ball completely through the entire catch.
He hangs on to it.
The refs don't think so. Oh my God! Do you remember that one game where he had it and he came down and he started getting up and moved the ball and it wasn't a complete.
But he had it with one hand, right?
Yeah,
it wasn't a 2-hand deal.
Yeah, and that happened 2 times to him. So I feel for Calvin Johnson.
Now he's got a rule.
Yes, the Calvin Johnson rule. Let's get to Buffalo at Miami. Buffalo, this is a game with C.J. Spiller or Fred Jackson. I don't know if one of them is going to break out. I got them both on one league. I have Fred Jackson in the other. It's kind of nice just having one of the guys, so you just put him in. But, they're both decent, and they'd be really good if they were healthy. I think C.J. Spiller would start proving why he was taken in the first round, especially in my league, C.J. Spiller. Do you hear me?
I think this is a situation where they may go the whole year where they're still splitting time and you don't get a whole lot of production out of either of them.
And there's going to be games we'll have, I know it's coming. There'll be a game. It might even happen this week. We'll have maybe Fred Jackson in the flex position and C.J. Spiller on my bench. And C.J. Spiller will go off for like 110 yards and 2 touchdowns. So it's going to happen. But hopefully you have some better options in there filling in for you as well. I like Fred Jackson right now. I like him as a flex option. C.J. Spiller, he had that one run against the Browns for 51-yard touchdown or whatever. But
other than that, it's been okay.
It's less than okay. It hasn't been for where you drafted the guy. You're expecting a little more. But a lot of the first-round picks for running backs, they haven't really been doing outstanding.
And I think there's a theme with that, with the quarterback play and the line play, like we talked about earlier. That's going to decrease what these guys are going to be able to do. Because I don't think Spiller's skills have gone down, and he's not that good of a player. He's not that old. But look at everything that they have around him. That makes the guy a little bit better than he should be at times. And when they don't have much around them, they're not this bad.
Yeah, I'm more angry with the coaching staff that said they were going to run these guys until they threw up. That has not happened yet.
They're behind all the time.
Having just signed free agent Matt Flynn. What happened to that guy? Had that good game when Aaron Rodgers went out in Green Bay, and everybody wanted him, stuff like that, and went to Seattle. Then Russell Wilson came on the scene, and
now he's bounced. This is his third team.
Yeah, it's I guess Buffalo's got him, so I think Thad Lewis he's going to get the start, and I like
Manuel's not close.
No, he's still like 4 or 6 weeks out. So, and Thad Lewis I think played good. He's from Duke. When you think of Duke, you think of football. That's right, football. They got a pretty good basketball team as well, though. Thad Lewis, he looked good. Threw 2 touchdowns, ran for 1 in. Did come up lame against Cincinnati, but I think he's going to be out there this week. So. I don't expect greatness against the Miami squad, who has held everyone but Drew Brees to 2 or fewer scores. Nobody's thrown for 3 touchdowns on these guys yet, so I'm not, if Drew Brees...
so you don't see it happen?
Drew Brees did good. He's no Drew Brees. Let's put it that way. And they've gone up against some good competition there. At the receiver position, the only guy you're looking at here is probably the tight end, Scott Chandler. He seems to be Thad Lewis's kind of check down guy, but also over the middle, he had a nice catch for the touchdown to take that game in overtime. Eventually lose it, but I like Scott Chandler. Miami, they've yet to allow a touchdown to opposing wide receivers. They've given up at least 1 score to the tight end position. Lewis might not likely be under pressure. Lewis may be under pressure once again, but I think that Chandler over the middle, he'll be there to bail him out, and they might get some checkdowns to Fred Jackson and C.J. Spiller. So PPR formats, you like those 2 running backs.
I don't think this is a real good matchup.
It's not. I mean, Buffalo, Miami, it's really not. It's my non-sexy game of the week. Let's put it that way. For Miami... It was like the ugliest backfield on earth show. It is continuing between Lamar Miller and Daniel Thomas, our boys. The change this week, Bills coming on. They're coming to town. Buffalo, they've been better late, but they're still averaging to surrender 124 yards per game on the ground, 5th worst in the league. So there might be a little wiggle room. I think they just need, if they're smart, they just run Lamar Miller. And then if they want to give Daniel Thomas a goal line stuff, that's fine since he's bigger. But
that's what they've been trying to do, and it's not working.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a line play or what it is. Maybe no blocking downfield for Mr. Wallace. But we'll have to see. Passing game, it's not much better than the run game. But again, I refer to the Bills who give the 2nd most fantasy points in the league to the wide receiver position. All but 2 teams: the Panthers in Week 2 and the Browns in Week 5. I've scored twice against Buffalo with their wideouts. So, yeah, if you're looking for a play, Stevie Johnson needed to practice, so he'd be all right. Robert Wood also, he seems to be the guy in there. A.J. Manuel's liking him until he got knocked out, but we'll have to see with those guys. Miami Dolphins, the defense, I've come up with this thing. I had it locked in last week, too, as the Giants were taking on who the Giants playing last week? Thursday night game? It was a Thursday night game with the Giants.
It was so bad I didn't watch.
It was I'm calling it my pick 6 premonition. Miami Dolphins. Pick 6 this week against the Buffalo Bills. So I think they're going to take one into the house. And Eli Manning once again threw another pick 6. And anybody playing Houston, apparently it's 5 games in a row now that defenses have taken one.
So if you have the Chiefs this week,
Chiefs will be a pretty good play this week. Yeah, they are by far and above the greatest there. Let's get to one more. We'll take a little break then. New England, they are at New York. The Patriots, all hail the comeback kid. Tom Brady got it done against the Saints.
Every time people say that this team is not that good and they're not going to perform well, there's nobody out there that can score offensively, nobody that can do anything, who can ready to get the ball to.
As long as the receiver can catch the ball with his hands, it's going to be there because Brady's pretty accurate. He gets the ball there when it needs to be.
I like the fact that they use a lot of receivers and running backs. So if you do have those deeper leagues and you grab a guy that's maybe the backup,
Garrett Blount,
he's still going to play quite a bit.
Yeah, it's and they have that mentality. It's like, look, when your number's called, you better deliver. So,
and they have been doing that.
Yeah. What do you think about Drew Brees basically trying that? Was it a 4th down? I think he tried to naked bootleg a la Peyton Manning, this last week, and it did not work.
Didn't see it.
It was. When he did that, it just reminded me of what Peyton Manning did, but they did not steal the corner. No, they were right there for him. So it was brutal. And then Patriots got the ball back and marched down the field, scored the touchdown. So it was not good. For Brady, he's had 2 subpar outings in back-to-back weeks. Until the Pats get healthy, and there's no telling when that'll happen, you really can't expect fantasy greatness out of number 12 there. I mean, Brady. He reminds me a lot of Aaron Rodgers. They're 2 big names, And people
haven't been real consistent.
They haven't been consistent. That's the guy tried to trade me Rodgers. It's like, you know what? I know you're trying to trade this guy.
Rodgers throw a 0 points anytime this year. So
No. He's not going to do that. But I mean, there's other options out there. I'm not going to give away a great running back just for Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has not been producing as Aaron Rodgers has been in the past few years since he's come in the league. He is still great and stuff like that, but again, you need the receivers out there to catch the ball. So I'm not really trading just for just to say I have Aaron Rodgers on my team. I mean, he put up like 14 fantasy points last week. It's just not. It's
what do you look for from your quarterback? How many points you want to get weekly?
I don't really look at too much. I mean, quarterback is like a position that I really don't put a lot of emphasis on. I put more emphasis on running backs, receivers. I tend to do well with them. What I tend to do is like if I could have gotten Peyton Manning, even Peyton Manning, he went below Aaron Rodgers, in the draft. So, I look for a solid line and good receivers pretty much for my quarterbacks. If they have that, then I feel that they can get the job done. So,
Clay, do you think you could take that Matt Castle doll up there behind you in the center window back to Minnesota with you and sell that?
That was the Matt Castle, yeah. Oh, Matt Castle.
Do you think anybody in Minnesota would buy that?
No, probably not. We had a Joe Montana one of those one time when he was with the Chiefs, but Matt Castle, he's like the third string quarterback now. He's been behind Christian Ponder, so we'll see what happens. Stephen Ridley had a great games. Of course, nobody probably had him in the lineup unless you're a deep league. You had to play him. Maybe.
Yeah, I think in my league they had him.
Did they play him?
Yes.
Okay. How many teams are in that league?
14.
4. So deep leagues, you probably had
12 in a 14 league.
Yeah, the deep league, you probably had him starting. You just had to. But I own Ridley in one of my leagues also, and he's been riding the bench ever since after week 1. Got the fumble, and then I think I did put him in week 2, and then they went away from him, and that was pretty much it. But he did have 2 touchdowns. If you plugged him in your lineup, great. Deeper leagues, you probably did. But I think Bill Belichick, he just showed the confidence in Ridley and to his owners. I think they're going to start reaping the rewards a little bit. Shane Vereen, he will be coming back eventually, but I think Ridley's going to be the guy. The matchup is not that great against the Jets this week. The Jets got a really good run defense. But
it's about the only thing that the Jets have done consistently well.
Yeah. So if you got Ridley, you like the 2 touchdowns. You probably didn't start them this week. Temper expectations to get the Jets. They're going to be out for blood on that one. For the receiver, pick any receiver. Any receiver. It's a new game. Pick a receiver, any receiver for the Patriots, and we wish you luck with them. Amendola.
What did you say about guys coming back on the Patriots last week?
For Amendola?
And
Gronkowski?
Yeah.
I didn't think Gronkowski was going to play. Amendola, I'm guessing I probably said I wouldn't play him because he's probably going to get knocked out of the game again.
Yeah.
And he literally did get knocked out of the game. So I don't think Amendola is going to play this week. Gronkowski, I'm just glad I don't own him on my team. The people are saying, get Gronkowski and you can
sit on him.
Yeah, sit on him. You'll have another tight end. With that tight end's numbers for the first 6 weeks while Gronkowski's out. Well, now we're into week 7. He's probably not going to play. Week 8 might not play too. So people are saying after the bye, which is like week 10, maybe week 11, they might roll him out there. But Amendola, he's out. Gronkowski probably, it's guessing game when he'll return. So you got Edelman, Dobson, Tompkins, and the newly signed Austin Collie. Good luck. I mean, you'll need it. You're picking between those guys. You didn't know who's going to get the touchdowns.
Somebody's going to do something good. You just don't know who it is.
Yeah, you figure Edelman would be the guy to get the most targets, maybe in a PPR league. But Tompkins got the winning touchdown last week, and I think Brady's kind of looking to him. I'd do like Edelman probably first, then Tompkins, then Dobson, right in that order, and then Collie. So it's a complete game. Yeah. For the New York Jets, I'm not really liking the passing game this week. And it's not like anyone's rushing out to pick up any of the Jet wide receivers. So,
well, the guys that you would want are not playing.
Yeah, Santonio Holmes,
or hurt,
and Winslow. Oh, I don't know what the Browns are thinking when they drafted that guy first. Oh, this is all water, by the way. I'm not sipping beer through a straw.
He wasn't bad. 2 until he started getting hurt with the Browns.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, he was good, and he did get dinged up a little bit with a hip injury, but he was good. He wasn't his dad. No, it's not.
His dad's a Hall of Famer, though.
Exactly. He's got to make his own name, but he's going to be out till week 11 with suspension. I do like Jeff Cumberland, though, who has put up respectable numbers before. He's had touchdown in his prior 2 games before last week against the Steelers, but no tight end has actually scored on the Steelers. So I do like Cumberland if you're looking for a play this week. Maybe you have Graham out with the Graham and Gonzalez are both out this week. Gonzalez on a bye, and then Graham kind of dinged up, but they'll both be out. So you might want to pick up Cumberland for the Jets. He'd be a good play there. The Saints' Jimmy Graham, he couldn't get a catch last week against the Patriots, but I think it's more of a keep to leave. The Patriots always say that try to take away the best player on that team.
And they can when you have one of the best cover guys in the league.
Exactly. So Graham, he was a shutout there, but I don't think they're going to do that this week. Could see a QB keeper maybe from Geno Smith this week for a touchdown.
You could only hope if you have him.
Another premonition I'm probably going with there. We'll get some more matchups. We'll take a little break, and we'll be back on 810 WHB TV. Reminder, we're on 810 WHB TV on Facebook. I was on the Facebook, if you will, and also we're down here at 810 Zone in North Kansas City at Harrah's Casino, and we had some events coming up also, right? We want to make mention, Mr. McCray.
Well, you're going to have all your UFC fights if you're into that. This is the pay-per-view headquarters.
Are you a big UFC watcher?
No,
I'm not either. I used to watch.
There are a lot of people that get into it and enjoy it. And
teach their own. Teach their own there.
And on October 19th, you're going to have Mizzou in Florida at 11 a.m. Then the UFC heavyweight title fight. Also,
Velasquez, and Junior Dos Santos.
So we got a lot going on there. And then on Sunday, a late start with the Chiefs and the Texans at 3:25.
Now, that game has always been scheduled at that time, right? Or was it moved?
I think it was moved.
It was moved?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
I think that game was moved, but they're not going to move any of the Broncos games.
Yeah, the Broncos game.
So
CBS got that one. They're not flexing that game at all.
You can sleep in a little bit on Sunday and then watch the late Chiefs game.
Or watch all the games because we're all playing fantasy football. But if you had a rough Saturday night, maybe.
They may have had a rough time watching college football.
This is true.
Or celebrated the Mizzou Tigers' big win over the Florida Gators a little bit too hard in Columbia and slept in on Sunday.
There you go. All right, we'll be back in a moment here on 810WHBTV.com.
Metro guy.
You ever been here? Probably not a whole lot of reason how they took whatever they did to put it here.
Places like this What's his Kevin Harlan.
Boykins.
Serene.
That's the guy. Boykins.
Kevin Harlan.
For the whole game. The whole game.
That's a gross towards the playoffs.
It's bigger. Crazy money.
I think football is surpassed baseball probably. That's the
No, I think it was, what was the strike in the football? Late 80s?
No, strike in football.
Yeah, football. Mid-80s.
Hey Clay, they got our kind of slots here, penny slots.
Do they?
Yeah.
87. 87, yeah, the refs. 2011.
How old is this one, Brian?
Was Toby Keith's blog for a while.
Okay.
So it's probably 6 years, 7 years old as a blog.
No, I mean, when did A10 come in?
Oh, 2 years, I think.
The decor in here is great.
I think it's been 2 or 3 years. So it's like-
Toby Keith, huh? Good. Whenever you're ready.
Everybody got this week for nothing. I said I got all the players that I wanted to add in the drop add period. And didn't spend any money on it. Because it's my 0-6 team, so I'm not spending any money on trying to add players.
All right, we're back here at A10 Zone in North Kansas City. I almost want to say Leawood. I'm just used to saying that. North Kansas City in Harrah's Casino. Clay Jensen with Brian McRae talking fantasy football. Again, we are here on WHB, A10WHBTV.com every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. For the most part, I guess. We did have an 8 o'clock start one time. So, a reminder for the A10 Zone here in Harrah's Casino. First Downs for Down Syndrome. It's the time of year. Down Syndrome Awareness Month is in October. So what they're doing is selling footballs for $1 each. And this is all goes to First Downs for Down Syndrome. More information, you go to FDS. I'm guessing First Downs for Down Syndrome.org. So a lot of great prizes there. If you buy some footballs, and you can win some. I don't like mentioning prizes too much. So you just donate money anyways, whether you win something or not. It goes to good cause, right?
Yes, but
I know it's incentive for people, but come on.
it brings them in.
Yeah, I guess. So, all right, getting to some more matchups here. Throw that one down there. I think the next one is Dallas. Yeah, Dallas and the Eagles. Two decent offenses. and 2 horrible defenses in this game.
So it should be good for fantasy
A lot
players.
of points. Nick Foles, if you picked him up, I got him. We were talking a little bit off the air, bid dollars and stuff like that. You got all your guys that you wanted?
Yeah, I got everybody I want. I didn't spend any money. It's my own 6 team, so I'm not going to spend any money, try to make them 3-10 or whatever.
You're 0-16. Now, who'd you pick up? Who'd you get?
Just some backup running backs. I got defense. I dropped Jackie Battle, who was a backup for me, and David Wilson, who's hurt, who's out.
Okay.
And
He should be coming back about 3 weeks, though. But then you got Andre Brown also coming back for the Giants too. So.
And you have Brandon Jacobs that's playing well. So why worry?
Yeah, I got Foles for quarterback. I'm kind of playing quarterback roulette. I have Kaepernick. He's the guy I drafted. He just hasn't been producing that well. But he's got some good games. I'll be starting him up in the near future. But I got Foles. I always like bidding. So if you bid, 17, which was my original bid, and then I dropped it down to about 7, and I still got him. And I like getting that just over, what the next guy bid for him. It's always like a hot stick in the side of that guy. So.
With our leagues being as many teams as they are, you're not getting a lot of quality players.
Yeah.
You're getting the guy to maybe fill in for a week, or your defensive team, or a kicker and things like that. So this year, I was like, I'm not spending money.
Yeah.
Because you're not getting anything. The value you're going to have is in a trade in our leagues.
Yeah. Well, you're not getting it back the next year, though, right?
No, it starts all over.
Yeah, it starts all over.
Yeah.
Nick Foles, I liked him because I got him for 7, and I like him because he might, just hang on to the job. They're saying, Foles is going to be the starter until Michael Vick is back, and now they're like saying, well, when Michael Vick is 100% healthy, then we'll take a look or whatever. And it's
And
like
that
when
may not happen.
And when they say that, we'll take a look. Yeah, that's exactly it. So, Cowboys are 31st in defense. The Eagles are below them at that 32nd. So,
So play everybody.
yeah, you play. It's not going to be the Dallas-Denver matchup again, but it'll be up there, I would think.
I think the winner is going to score in the 40s.
Yeah, high 30s, low 40s. It'll be the winning team. So.
Because we have potential for defensive scores, pick 6, special teams, all that.
Yeah.
In the mix in this game.
Yeah, it'll be a good one there. Tony Romo, you're gonna be starting him. He's still for 14 touchdowns this year already. Dez Bryant's a no-brainer. You got DeMarco Murray, who's gonna miss this game. Randall's kind of the hot running back pickup this week. Some people are going crazy, like 20. I'm like, this guy's gonna fill in 20-something bid dollars. I'm like, this guy's gonna fill in 1, maybe 2 weeks, possibly. Until DeMarco Murray has the MCL strain. I think it's a strain. And basically the same thing that C.J. Spiller had. Yeah, it's about like a 2 to 3 week injury. And, the guy's he's not that big. He runs, he doesn't get down. He's like a up and down runner. So I don't know. I think they're going to see a lot more passing in this one. So Miles Austin did next to nothing. Kind of got into Williams' numbers a little bit, but Williams did score a touchdown. He only had like 3 catches, I think, 2 or 3 catches, but he did get the touchdown for the Cowboys last week. So I probably saved some people's fantasy weeks if you did start him that week. He was on my bench. I did have some other better options, but he ended up really producing towards the end. I think he got like 18, 20 fantasy points, so which is really good. So he did well. Other than that, for the Cowboys, you see anything else you like? You have Romo, Dez Bryant,
your typical Romo,
Jason
Dez Witten.
Yeah, they'll be up in there.
Typical 3.
Yeah, for the Eagles, Foles getting the start this week, and hopefully, that'd be great if he continued to play throughout the rest of the season. Good start here against the Cowboys. The Cowboys secondary is just not that good. They got Deshaun Jackson out there. Cooper had a nice game. Foles found him for was it 1 touchdown or 2? He had 2 touchdowns, I think, didn't he, Cooper?
I thought he had 2. I
think it was 2. And Deshaun Jackson's always a factor in this one as well. So Foles also ran one in. That was a nice little touch.
He runs
there.
a little bit better than people think.
Yeah, not bad for a white guy. Just gonna throw that out there. Not all white guy. Now, John Elway, one of the few white guys that can run good. Not a lot. For LeSean McCoy, you're playing him as well. I'm just kind of.
You're playing everybody.
As a Bryce Brown owner, I'm kind of just waiting for the injury to McCoy. So maybe that'll happen. Probably not. McCoy's been looking very good, but he does get dinged up towards the end of the season. He runs hard and unabashed into the line. So.
But I would say there's nobody that, if you have them on your roster from these two teams, that you probably shouldn't play.
Yeah. Except for the defense. Don't play the defense.
Yeah, the defenses, you're not
Stay away from the defenses. Chicago Bears taking on the Washington Redskins. Bears 9th on offense, 23rd on defense. And the Redskins kind of middle of the road for both those. The Redskins actually started improving. They were just getting lambasted at the beginning of the season. They're actually starting to tighten up on defense a little bit. So to pick
I think they're getting a little help now because the offense is doing a little bit more, and they're not 3 and out all the time and kind of leaving them out, hanging out to dry.
Alshon Jeffries for the Bears. I was really trying to get that guy. I picked him up one league, started him. It was my non-Jelly Bean league, which is fine. He had that huge 200-yard game 2 weeks ago, and last week did next to nothing. So this one I think he'd be fine starting him in it though. But Brandon Marshall, after crying and whining and not getting the ball thrown to Keyshawn, as I think we can call that now.
Now he's getting the ball and see what happens.
He got his 2 touchdowns. I like him. Gave props to the man upstairs, and so I like Brandon Marshall.
He got fined $10,000, I think, for wearing the shoes,
the green shoes, yeah,
and matched it and gave it to charity.
Yeah, which I mean, they bring out the pink and stuff like that for our breast cancer awareness, which is great. I like the pink stuff out there.
Not when the flags look like.
Yeah, the pink flag's a little too much. That's a little ridiculous, but
I think you should just do one day where you just cover it all.
What, all in pink or?
Just whatever, everything. Everything. Just cover it all, and you can put paint the field. I don't like the guys wearing all the weird things because the pink and the pink flags and all that just didn't look right.
Yeah.
There's a way to honor the charities that you want to honor and support them by not making kind of a mockery of what you're doing. I think with the pink flags, you couldn't tell if it was a towel or a flag or what.
Yeah,
exactly. It was hard to watch on TV.
Yeah, and Marshall's cause for what is it? He was a mental.
It's some disorder.
Yeah, I used to work in the medical field. I can't even think of the words I want to say now for it. Anyways, he was diagnosed a while ago with I think it was bipolar disease. So that's what he's out there wearing the green shoes for. But I think it's good what he did. So I'm all for that. So Cutler, I think you can start him in this game. He'll be a good play. The Bears have a lot of good matchups, a lot of nice matchups. The NFC East, they're just not that good. Washington, Philly, Dallas, they're really not that good on defense.
Good defenses,
so these are all matchups that the NFC North seems to be paired up with.
They're very favorable to score a lot of points.
Yeah, so I like Cutler this week. Forte, he had a nice game. Didn't get in the end zone last week, which was a little sickening to me being a Forte owner. But he's had 100 carries this year, 442 yards, 4.4 average. So it's decent. He's really good in the PPR leagues. He's getting a lot of passes out of the backfield, and I think he will continue to do that. RG3 should have a nice game.
He's getting better.
I think they're going to run him a lot. I think more so this week than last. So
I think he's getting to the point where he's close to being 100% now.
Yeah, Chicago's defensive line. They had 2 starters out last week, and so I think he'll have a nice game here. For Alfred Morris, he should have a very nice game as well.
Continue what he's been doing.
Yeah, he looked kind of like nothing really spectacular, but I think he's going to have a nice game against the Chicago Bears this week. Pierre Garçon, you're starting him. Reed, the tight end, looked very good the other night, and he's starting to get a lot more looks for RG3. So if you need a tight end, maybe Graham might be out longer than expected. Reed be a good pickup for Washington. Might want to look that way. Also, the St. Louis Rams will be taking on the Carolina Panthers. Rams bad on offense and defense, but they beat the Houston Texans last week in Houston.
Houston is not the same team.
What has happened to that team?
They're falling apart. And I don't think anything great's going to happen this week coming into play against the Chiefs. So I think the Rams are improving. They're a little bit better. They're doing some things.
Zach Stacy looked pretty good.
Bradford has looked steady. Been looking a little bit.
He had 3
better
touchdowns last week. The more you can say for a lot of the J.J. Watt still plays for Houston, though, doesn't he?
Their defense is good.
Crushing. Doesn't he play for them?
The defense has given up
I don't know what's going on.
less yardage than the Chiefs.
Yeah, yeah.
And they played well. They just, when you're throwing pick sixes every game, the momentum is not there. And I think this is a demoralized team in the Houston Texans.
And we said last 2 weeks that Houston, this is going to be like a game where they're just going to, because they lost the week before, a hard loss, and then they thought they were going to come in here and just walk all over the Rams.
I think it's one of those teams where the offense and the defense do not get along.
Well, and it's one of 2 teams that have never lost a game at Arrowhead. I think Baltimore's the other.
For the Houston Texans, or
Yeah, they've never.
So they came in twice.
Chiefs, but there's only 2 teams in history that have never lost at Arrowhead.
Yeah,
I think
Houston
Baltimore's the other one.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So back to the Rams. Tavon Austin was a sexy little pickup in draft days. He has not done anything. So you go away from him. Cook leads the receiving core with them for 22 receptions and 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. And the 2 touchdowns they came in week 1. It's bad. It looks bad. Givens is they're not. You can probably drop Tavon Austin, I would think, unless you're in a deep league. Givens. So Richardson. He leads the rushing attack for the Rams, but he's probably like the 3rd string now behind Pete and Zach Stacy. Zach Stacy looks pretty good.
If you have Zach Stacy, and I don't know, probably he's been picked up, but I would continue to run him out there.
Yeah, this week, temper expectations though. Carolina's offensive line, the secondary might not be that great. I mean, they picked it up over the weeks here, but that line for Carolina, I tried to pick up the Carolina Panthers just for this purpose that they're playing Sam Bradford. I think Bradford might be on his back a lot. That front line is just, they get after it, and I think Sam Bradford's in for a world of hurt this week. Panthers also only surrendering 13.6 points per game. That's 2nd fewest in the NFL. For the Panthers, you want to talk a little bit about them? You got your Panther squad. You bring them all out against the 26th ranked defense.
No, I didn't play. I played Cutler over Cam Newton
this week.
This past week.
Well, what about this week?
This week I'm gonna probably go with Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Over Cutler. I like this matchup. I won't play Steve Smith. I think I'm gonna go with.
Did you play him last week?
I played him last week.
Okay. Very good. Yep.
And I played D'Angelo Williams last week and didn't play Greg Olsen. So I'll probably play 3 of the Panthers because I would put Newton at quarterback. If I didn't put him at quarterback, I wouldn't play the other guys. I'm looking for that
game where he gets all the goal line stuff.
Where he throws to one of the guys and I get double.
Yeah.
Get double points there. So that's trying to match that up that way. But Cutler got me 25 points and Cam Newton got 35.
Now you're gonna be going out and picking up Jonathan Stewart. Is gonna be coming back pretty soon.
No. Once Jonathan Stewart gets back, then I drop D'Angelo Williams or something like that. But,
trade him maybe I'll have a good game before
Stewart
comes back, and then you can trade him.
The Carolina team is my 3-3 team. Those players are on that one, and they've done a good job for me. But I try to find good matchups for him. With Cutler being my backup quarterback, that's not a bad choice either.
Has D'Angelo Williams scored a touchdown yet? Did he get one? He
had one early.
He hasn't gotten a rushing touchdown. Did he have a receiving?
Yeah, he had a receiving touchdown.
Had a receiving touchdown. Yeah,
he gets steady 6 to 8 points in my league for carries and yardage.
Not bad.
I look for 10 points out of my players. If you get 10 points out of them, you get 90 in my league, and 90 gives you a good chance to win every week.
All right. Next game is this is the last noon game. The San Diego Chargers taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Chargers tied for 3rd. This is kind of surprising. Tied for 3rd in offense.
Doesn't surprise me.
They're tied. They're exactly tied with the New Orleans Saints. Could you believe that?
Yeah, I could believe it by watching them play over the last couple weeks.
They've been looking really good. So they'll be going into Jacksonville. 3-3 Chargers against the 0-6 Jaguars. Jaguars surrendering 33 points a game. That's 2nd most in the NFL. So expecting a big game from Keenan Allen for the Chargers. He appears to be the go-to guy. A lot of people thought it might be Brown. Royal. He started off with the nice first 2 weeks, and he's just fallen off. I had my friend ask me in another league. he has to make it clear this is the guy that sold Jordan Cameron from me. He's like, okay, I got a question for you, PPR. This isn't our league, by the way. He has to put that up there. So because if if it's for our league, I ain't answering nothing for him. So he was asking about Royal or Edelman in a PPR. And I said, you got to go with Edelman because Royal's just kind of falling off.
He's getting more touches.
Yeah, Edelman didn't do that great,
but he's getting more targets and more touches. Royal isn't getting much at all.
Yeah. Keenan Allen's the guy right now. So had a nice touchdown.
But in this game, you can probably say Matthews, Woodhead.
Yeah,
Allen, you can pretty much say a lot of Chargers are going to.
Matthews looked pretty good. He didn't, it seems to be more Woodhead now, especially in a PPR league, and they seem to be throwing the ball.
I think they're all going to get.
They'll get some, yeah. They'll get some, yeah. I mean,
because they should be able to score at will. I think against the Jaguars.
Yeah, Denver, not so much last week, but I think they'll be able to put up some points there. So, and even if Jacksonville stays in it, and I think Rivers he's right up there now. I mean, Philip Rivers
played some of his best ball.
He went undrafted in most. That's what I'm saying. The quarterback position.
People were scared from.
Well, yeah. I mean, you got Rodgers and Breeze. I mean, like right now, it's like. Quarterbacks are like kickers. They put up a lot of points, but you're not really going after them too early in drafts. Not except for the elite ones. But for Jacksonville, Jones-Drew has 2 touchdowns on the year. I guess did he get in the end zone last week? Was that one of them?
I
think he probably did get in the end zone, but I
don't have any of those guys on my team, so I don't
pay too much attention to them. But the
worst team in the league, I'm not paying attention to.
It's hard. I mean. I'm kind of glad I don't own any Jacksonville Jaguars too, because I probably would be watching the team a little bit more, and I would just—it's
bad to watch.
I need some Pepto-Bismol after watching those guys. So, start your Chargers, maybe Maurice Jones-Drew. I mean, Chargers, they are the 24th. They rank 24 in defense. Yeah, Justin Blackmon, you got to start him as well. Cecil Shorts, he might play. He did practice a little bit, so keep an eye on him. For the 3 o'clock games, getting to those, San Francisco, they're going to be at Tennessee. 49ers, it's another tough matchup for Colin Kaepernick. I think you see a lot of big run game. Of course, Kaepernick, he did throw 2 touchdowns to Vernon Davis. I mean,
Vernon Davis had an outstanding.
He probably won leagues hands down for some people.
In my league, he had 30 points.
Yeah, it was like 36 in mine. So it's probably just the catches. It's just PPR. That when he scored 30 in. It was just like straight yards.
It's straight yardage, catches, yards, touchdown.
Yeah. So Vernon Davis is good. Bring Gore out there. Manningham, he's going to be returning sometime soon, but I'm kind of waiting on that too when Manningham gets back, and also Crabtree. Maybe that might open things up a little more in the passing game. But if Frank Gore is getting it done, and if they're getting it done with the run game,
they're going to keep doing it.
Yeah, there's no need to really go away from that. So for the Titans, Kenny Britt's uninteresting. Chris Johnson runs like he doesn't want to be there.
It's not.
They're not doing
not
too much
anything there. No.
Yeah, and Washington, he's their leading receiver. I don't know. You can go with that, I guess, and Kendall Wright too as well. But
there's not much there to talk about.
Yeah, not a good one. All right, let's get to the another 3 o'clock game. The probably ones people want to talk about the most: the Houston Texans taking on the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead. Ding. For the Chiefs, they're undefeated, but they're the 21st ranked offense in the league.
Which means I think
the defense is carrying this team.
The defense is carrying him.
Jamal Charles is.
They're going to have trouble scoring. I think Houston's defense is pretty good.
Yeah, they're second in the league on defense. So.
And the game against the Raiders was a lot closer than the score. The final score indicates the Raiders' defense did a pretty good job.
They held them in that game
for most of the day, and I think this is what you're going to see from the Chiefs. So if you do have Chiefs, if you have better options offensively. I'm playing Jamal Charles.
Yeah, I would love to. Jamal Charles is probably the most
and maybe
consistent running back in the league.
You
right
throw now. Avery or Dwayne Bowe in there as a flex if you have to.
I mean, I dealt Dwayne Bowe away, and granted, I got David Wilson for him, and he's riding the pine right now. He's injured, but and then they're not going deep. They're not going deep,
no.
And you would think that they would eventually.
But no, they're not doing that. And then you just hope their defense continues to get 10 sacks a game and you get all your points if you have the Chiefs defense.
Gosh.
But on the offensive side, I just don't see them as a team week in and week out where their players are going to get a lot of fantasy points.
Yeah, there's going to be some games. I mean, it might not be against the Texans, but pretty soon they're going to have to put that offense is going to have to show up and have to put points on the board.
Right now, the defense is scoring as much as the offense is.
This is true. They might figure it out with Dwayne Bowe, but you might if he can trade him if he has a good game possibly. But
this is their offense. I think you've seen who's valuable offensively, and it's Jamal Charles for the most part.
Yeah, Alex Smith, he's got a little bit because he does throw some balls over to Jamal Charles, and he runs a little bit too, but
not a whole lot. He's going to be a backup guy.
Yeah, the Houston Texans side, Arian Foster, you got to start him if you have him. But Chiefs, they do surrender some yards on the ground, so I think it's the third most, I believe, as far as rushing yards against every carry per carry. They give up like 5 yards, I think, something like that. But you don't score a lot of points in the Chiefs. 10.8.
Yeah, they're not going to do a whole lot, and I don't.
Fewest in the NFL points allowed per game.
And the quarterback situation there in Houston is bad.
Yeah, Schaub might be back, but Yates,
and even if Schaub plays, has not been good.
Yeah, the Chiefs are starting them regardless, and I've heard trade rumors out, like somebody trying to trade like maybe a RB2 running back 2 for the Chiefs defense. You're keeping the Chiefs defense.
No, I'm not trading them at all.
No, they're
getting 20 points. In my league, they're getting 20, 25 points.
Yeah, last week I think they scored like 31. I had a friend that
it's almost unheard of for.
And I had a feeling that there was going to be a pick six towards the end of this game to like seal it up, and there was. And I was like, I just thought of the guy that owns the Chiefs defense in my league. It was like, it's unbelievable. But it helped me out because he was playing somebody that was in my division.
So you needed it.
So it was good that they did score that, because otherwise he would have lost that week. So I was kind of glad that. But so it's very good for the Chiefs. For the Texans side, you start Arian Foster, I guess.
Start Andre Johnson, even though he's probably not going to do as much because of the quarterback situation. The line would make me leery.
Yeah, the secondary is a little bit. I mean, they do give up some yards for the secondary for the Chiefs, but
whoever quarterbacks for Houston, they're going to have any time to throw the ball.
Exactly. So, all right. So let's move on to the Ravens taking on the Steelers in AFC North matchup. Steelers finally got a victory. They got a 1 win. They're 1-4. The Ravens 3-3, and the Steelers, I think, coming off a bye this week. No, they didn't. No, they played 2 weeks ago. They were on the bye. Yeah. So
they were on the bye after they came back from England.
Yeah, and Ravens, Ray Rice getting some good work, so you like him in this one. Steelers defense, pretty tough. They can be run on. The secondary is fairly good in Pittsburgh, so temper expectations for Torrey Smith. He had a horrible game last week, and
he just hadn't had a real good year.
He's been doing pretty good. I mean, he hasn't touchdown-wise, they haven't been there, but he's getting the yards and getting the catches. So he's putting up
what people expected out of him and where he was drafted.
Yeah. I mean, he has. Last year was better for him. Don't get me wrong, but he could have a decent game possibly. But Steelers defense, they got Troy Polamalu. I mean, if he's playing, I mean that's pretty much as good as you get. That guy's all over the place with that crazy hair and making buku bucks on Head and Shoulders commercials.
Yeah, the Steelers' problems aren't on the defensive side.
Yeah, the offense really got to worry about. Antonio Brown, I think you can put him out there. Ravens 22nd league on defense. So, you got Joe Flacco. Did you start him?
If I have a better option, no.
Yeah, he's available in our league. So I mean,
he's at the bottom tier now in our league.
Yeah, I think there are better options out there for him. But I like Ray Rice in this one. Torrey Smith, bring him out for the Steelers. Javon Bell, he's got to be out there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think Bell would be a good play. Antonio Brown, you're putting him out there, and Emmanuel Sanders,
maybe
got that touchdown. Ben Roethlisberger threw that ball, but I'm like,
it's Antonio Brown. It's Emmanuel Sanders running for like 60, 70 yards. It's like, I was playing against. That doesn't mean you're gonna run him out there. I was playing against the person that had Emmanuel Sanders. I had Antonio Brown, but I was up by. I had a comfortable lead. Let's put it that way. Against Julie. So.
The Buck Stompers. After that, I think that's pretty much it for the Steelers. Let's get to the final two matchups here for the Sunday night game. The Broncos taking on the Colts. Why is this game on prime time?
something happened last year, some kind of trade,
Yeah,
and then a
got rid of
first round
somebody.
pick or something like that
Yeah.
happened. But to hear the owner of the
18.
Colts talk about it, nothing really went down.
Yeah. What did Peyton Manning say to take if you don't take Andrew Luck, you're crazy or something like that? So Peyton Manning's a great guy. The Colts have a chance, I guess. It's in Indianapolis, so the home that Peyton built, literally Lucas Oil Field. If Peyton Manning wasn't there, Eric talks like the Colts might be in LA right now.
Who knows where the hell they'd be?
Yeah. Peyton Manning, it's a nice story. I think he's going to get he didn't get the send off that he deserved, I think, from the fans. So I think he'll get a good send off. I think after he beats up on the Colts for a little bit. So it should be a decent game. I like Indianapolis' defense.
I think this can be a higher scoring game.
Colts defense much better than the Broncos though. So
Right. So but I think that Peyton coming back, that there's some special things that may happen offensively for the Broncos and for Peyton Manning, but I think that the Colts can match them, that they can go up and down the field and have a chance to do a lot against this Broncos defense.
Yeah, I don't see much coming from Richardson, but I think more in the passing game for the Colts. I think Reggie Wayne will get his
they're going to
catches.
attack him.
Yeah, and Colby Fleener, a lot of Colts had a case of the dropsies last week, and Fleener was one of them.
I just don't see the Colts playing as bad offensively as they did.
No, yeah, they should be. They'll up the game here. So, Colts giving up the fifth fewest, 16.3, but that's about to change drastically. They don't give up a lot of points per game, but I think
It's going to happen.
Yeah, it's gonna. They should probably be up in the 20, 22s or something like that by the time this one's over. So, for the Broncos, you're starting all your guys. With Knowshon Moreno, he is the man in the backfield until he gets injured. If they're up by 50-some points, he's going to be in the game. He's the only one that seems to be able to pass protect for Peyton Manning and also make some catches out there. So he's. I had Knowshon Moreno too last year, I believe it was as well. He got injured, and also had Willis McGahee.
So just run him until you can't run him anymore.
Hopefully, fingers crossed he stays healthy. I'm holding my breath. I'm not.
I just hope when you draft a guy like that you understand that you need to. Some people don't draft a guy like that and don't realize that his history and don't get a quality backup.
Yeah, and I do have quality backups. I'm not running out to grab Hillman. I think Hillman's next in line if Moreno got injured, but hopefully he stays healthy. So all the other guys are bringing out there. Tight end Thomas, Decker, Welker, Demaryius Thomas, they're all out there. Prater, the kicker, it's inside. It's a beautiful thing. So the points will be had. Andrew Luck, I do like him in this one. He should have a nice game.
Good bounce back game.
Yeah, the Denver secondary, as I mentioned before, they're not that great. So the run defense is pretty good, but the secondary. But I also think that Denver gives up a lot of passing yards because teams have to throw on them because they're down by so many points that it's a little skewed that way. You see a lot of passing yards they give up, but a lot of that's garbage time.
But I don't think that secondary. I still think that's where one of their weaker spots there.
Yeah.
Their defense is Von Miller when he gets back and gets back into playing shape. I think the defense will be much better.
Yeah. That'll be a fun game to watch. Final game is going to be on Monday night. The Vikings taking on the New York Football Giants. This one's in New York, I believe, right? Yeah, it's in New York.
It's going to be
Josh Freeman's going to get the start for the Vikings. He will be the starter.
That'll make an interesting watch.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see how he does. And the Giants, they're not that great on defense, so I'm just not picturing Josh Freeman throwing 4 touchdowns and 300 yards though.
But they couldn't have picked a better team to match him up against.
Yeah, I think that's kind of why maybe a little confidence boost. So Ron Dane's the running back in the backfield for the Giants, and he had 2 touchdowns last week.
Who?
100 yards. Ron Dane.
Who?
Ron. Don't call me late for dinner, Dane.
Who had him?
Some people, he was picked up, and some people probably started him on Thursday night, but he had a good game, and probably the best one that he's going to have all year. But Del Scott's still back there; he'll be playing as well.
You sure it was Ron Dane or was it Brandon Jacobs?
Oh, this is Ron Dane.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Who?
Brandon Jacobs.
Yeah, I was like, who?
I'm thinking Ron Dane because
That's
Ron Dane was
years
the
ago.
Texans. He did go to the Giants, though, didn't he? Dane? Wasn't he with them for a period?
Wisconsin guy, yeah. You had. That's why I kept saying. Who?
Oh man.
Yeah,
Brandon Jacobs. Sorry, Brandon Jacobs. My gosh, we'll cut that out in editing. Jim, take care of that. Don't make me look bad. Brandon Jacobs. Yes, over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's the fill-in right now until not Richardson, but David Wilson comes back. And
if Wilson comes back,
I think he will. He's not going to need surgery, which is a good thing. So that would have definitely taken him out for the year. Andre Brown also going to be coming back soon. So I think once that happens, it's going to be a mess, unfortunately. But I think in a perfect world, I think it would be David Wilson getting the bulk of the carries, and then
he would have done that early if he didn't put the ball on the ground. They wouldn't have to go out and get Jacobs.
Yeah, but but he's also injured now, so I think it'll be mostly Wilson if they do get back later on in the season, maybe after week 11 or something like that. It'll be him, and then backing up. I just forgot his name now. The guy coming back off injury will be back for the Giants. So starting your receivers. I'm from Minnesota, and trust me, I know bad secondaries when I see them. The Vikings have a bad secondary. So,
but who's healthy
for the Vikings?
No, for the receiver wise, are they all beat up? It's still
no, they're all good. Cruz is there, Hicks good, and
Hicks is not,
Randall.
He's 100%.
He's there. He's still
there.
Yeah. He's still 100%. They're actually looking at shopping this guy out. The Giants, they're not going to go anywhere. They're 0-6. They haven't won yet. So their trade rumors talking about. So if you have Ruben Randall, hang on to him because he could actually be the number 2 receiver behind Cruz very shortly. The trade deadline, I think, is in 2 weeks from today.
Right, but they need a healthy Hicks to trade him.
He's still healthy. So
I know he's playing, but I don't think he's healthy.
Well, you brought up trade deadline. Tony Gonzalez. He came back one more year because why?
Well, he wanted to win Super Bowl.
Well, okay.
It's not going to happen in Atlanta. It's not happening.
It ain't happening in Kansas City either.
Well, it's being talked about. I mean,
it's going to be talked about, but those kind of it ain't happening.
Yeah,
they're not gonna trade him.
Yeah, he'll stay. He'll stay right there, I think. So, it would be a nice story. It's fun to talk about, but in reality, I don't see it happening.
In a perfect world, maybe they could figure something out, but Atlanta's not going to tell their fan base that they're giving up.
Yeah. One more thing I thought that was kind of interesting. The Giants giving up the most points per game. The Vikings, the 3rd most. So, could be a high-scoring game. Giants have the weapons. Minnesota.
It could be so ugly that
I see Adrian Peterson getting 3 touchdowns in this one. He had a bad week last week.
But it could be so ugly that Josh Freeman and Eli Manning throw 3 interceptions each.
Pick Josh Freeman up now. He throws 3 touchdowns. Then you trade him. Be awesome. So
I got one for you. You think Donnie Avery will have a breakout game sometime this year? I mean, where he just
well, he had that one game. He had over 100 yards, and then he got hurt the next week. But
I think we've seen the best of what they can do with Avery. I think he's a nice possession receiver, but
PPR leagues he's all right. When he got hurt, then McGrath came in there at tight end and picked up a little work the next week. But I'm not going out to get him. Not in my.
If you play him, you usually play him as a flex.
Yeah. And you're looking now, it looks like McCluster gets a lot of the work too.
He's using everybody he's got out there. I mean, everybody.
Yeah.
Except for one guy.
Except for Dwayne Bowe.
But he's using them, and they're getting 2 and 3 receptions for 18 yards.
Yeah, Dwayne Bowe's production's picked up a little bit, but 2 weeks ago.
He'll have one big catch.
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, he almost got in the end zone, and he gets.
He'll have one big catch.
Well, there was a funny call in today, and some guy calls in. Oh, he's being triple teamed, double teamed. Right, and Soren's like, whatever, I'm there.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're just not throwing down to him. So
they're not throwing down, and he can't get separation, can't get open.
If defenses are smart, they know that Dwayne Bowe is not going to be the problem. They got to stop Jamal Charles, and they got the defense. But yeah, the offense is going to need to step it up. It's kind of funny. I remember hearing right after the win, everybody's like calling for Alex Smith's head.
Yeah.
Because he didn't throw, he wasn't 45 for 50 for 400 yards or something like
they're
that.
They're going to make it to the playoffs, and they got a chance.
He did miss some open receivers.
But there's going to be it's going to be this way. It's not going to be pretty. It's not a pretty offense.
Yeah.
It's not designed that way.
And you win championships with defense. Just ask the Baltimore Ravens.
What rate on fantasy level Kansas City's offense?
Rate their level on a scale like 1 to 10.
Yeah, I mean,
7.
Yeah, I mean
6, 7. Until they start. They need to stretch the field a little bit more. And get the ball downfield. I do like the fact that they're getting Jamal Charles a lot of work. So remember, it was last year when he would get like 6 carries a game or something
Especially
like that.
in the second half when they've had leads, they've been able to pound the ball.
Yeah, I'm just like, at least they're getting him work. He's getting the ball in the backfield. So other than that, I mean, they got to stretch. They got to start stretching the field. I mean, if they start stretching the field, they'll open it up, and I think eventually they'll figure that out, I think, but they haven't really had to do it yet. So once they need to play from behind, I'll Denver, playing them twice in the next 3 weeks
4 weeks.
4 weeks. Yeah. So they'll have Houston, then they'll have Cleveland, then they'll have Denver.
A lot of questions will be answered in the next month.
Yeah, once
that team.
you see, we'll have to see what happens when they play Denver. They'll start playing a team where they'll have to actually come from behind by a few points, and we'll see what happens there.
Well, I was talking with our friend Ian Lapine today, and I told him I'd mention this on the air because his brother
has all Denver and Green Bay players.
Yeah, I mean,
I
don't understand why either.
No, he's from here.
Well, yeah,
his brother
from Meadville. So
his brother, so it's Kansas City. But he's a Green Bay fan. Green Bay fan too.
Yeah, obviously he must those must be the two teams he likes, but it's not very smart fantasy football.
Yeah, if you have all Denver plays like one guy does, he's still undefeated. Almost got beat last week. He's still moving it. Fritz Klein is
depending
just,
on what guys you have, and you can get away with it for a while.
You know what? You have one loss in week 9 when Denver goes on a bye, but if they're going to keep putting 50-plus points, I mean, they're averaging like 45 points a game. That's more than some teams have combined, total. So they're looking good.
Well, yeah, that's a big fantasy football league that Fritz is in.
Yeah.
Yeah, big.
Yeah, that's. I don't know how many he plays in, but he's in the one with me.
Yeah.
The church league, the Cornerstone.
No, okay, there's another one.
The Cornerstone. Yeah, you always in another one too.
Yeah.
All right, so. Good luck to Fritz. I think it's bold what he did. So far it's working out. So I tip my hat to the guy. So it's great.
If you don't know Fritz is bold anyway.
Yeah, you gotta be. All right, that's gonna do it for week 7 of Fantasy Football Wednesday. We are at 810 Zone in North Kansas City at Harrah's Casino. Again, you can stop on down, catch some of the action, and the first downs for Down syndrome. It's going on. Come on down. You can buy football. It goes to good cause for Down syndrome. And I'll be interested for more prizes and more information on that. FDS.org. For Fantasy Football Wednesday on 810 WHB TV, I'm Clay Jensen, co-host Brian Gray, and we will talk to you next Wednesday. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a good night.